really difficult to even put into words because it's been a long time since we've had a game like that. We were beaten in every area, um, and no ifs, ands, or buts. They just kicked the tail out of us from the beginning to the end. They controlled the football. They were physical. They got aggravating rush yards, uh, got first downs, possessed the football. Did just constantly held on to the ball. Offensively, we had way too many three and outs, 36 plays to 92. Um, you don't have a chance to win a game when it's like that. So, it's again, it's one of those years that our players and I got to do a better job of getting them ready. And I felt it, but it's going to be hard and an emotional year. It's physically and mentally taxing on everybody, and we have to respond better than this. I thought we were prepared to go on the road back to back and play well, and we certainly didn't do that. Give them credit. I thought Eli really had their team ready to play. They were tired of hearing about losing to us, and as I said earlier in the week, didn't mean anything. Previous years. It's about this year, and they were certainly ready to play, and we weren't. So definitely want to give them credit.
Josh?
Mark, what was the thinking there to put Joe in at the end? Was it
just to get reps?
You think what's your plan next week going into Georgia?
Not sure.
John Hale?
Mark, I know you don't probably have a lot of details, but can you share anything with us about what Coach Slarman's status is and him not making the trip today?
I just want to confirm, obviously he was not able to make it. And, I want to respect Leanne and John and their family and their privacy. And, I don't think it's right for me to comment anymore about that.
Derek?
Mark, after the defense got the stop on the 21 play drive, the running backs didn't get a touch on that 3-and-out. I was just wondering if you could explain kind of the thought process there a little bit.
Yeah, not very good. I mean, not a very good series. So.
Larry?
Mark, do you think John not being with you had any emotional impact on your guys one way or the other today?
I'm sure it did, but it is, the situation. We have to be able, to respond. And, that's a tough question because I don't want to put anything on John. I mean, John's given us, my Lord, he gives us so much more than any normal human being can. So yes, we missed them, but that's not an excuse. We need to respond and play great for him and in honor of him. And we didn't do that today.
John Clay?
Mark, you said you thought you had your team ready to play back-to-back road games, but did you get a feeling before the game or in warm-ups that maybe they were a little flat or not?
I did, because I knew that this team was going to be ready to go. They were tired of hearing about losing to us however many games in a row, and they had a week off and had time. They knew, last Friday they were playing us, so had a couple extra days to prepare, and they did a good job. He had them ready to play, and that's the bottom line. And I didn't. We didn't respond. They did, and they beat the tar out of us, and we've got to respond.
Josh?
Mark, what more do you think your defense could have done today going out? I mean, just being out there for as many snaps as they had to be out there.
We needed to get off the field. We let them mush us too long. Yes, that's partly offensively, when you're not getting first downs, it hurts your defense. But, that was only part of it today. We gave up way too many yards. We were getting mushed. We were getting pushed around from the beginning of the game. Even though they weren't putting up a lot of points, they were controlling the game. And that's, normally what we like to do. If we could physically run the ball and get first downs and play good defense, and they did that today. And, they beat us at our own game, and they did it decisively.
John Hale.
Okay, you talked about that one drive after the long Missouri drive where you didn't run the ball any, but in general, do you feel like you all tried to establish the run enough? I mean, it seemed like AJ and Chris both had success, and they just don't have many carries overall when you look at the box score.
No, I think you're correct, and I think that's part of that is definitely a fair criticism, and we're going to look back and it was it was later in the game when we went to some sets and started cutting it off, because they had a good plan for when we weren't securing the edges with taking the dive and making the quarterback pull it. There were a couple missed reads early where he maybe could have pulled it, but they had a nice plan. And then we got to the bigger sets in 12, and we had some success. That's when we drove down and scored. Then we came back and tried it again, and they shut it down. And then we had incomplete. So we went back to that set. I think it was still a 7-point game, and we're not able to move it. So they got it ironed out.
Right. On that possession you're talking about there, when AJ was back in, was Chris available then, or was it just AJ?
Don't quote me on that. I get mixed up, you know what I'm saying, on exactly
right.
who's in and what possession we're talking about and all that. But yes, I believe Chris was available. Yes.
All right, got time for two more. Max Baker.
Coach, when you were preparing for Missouri this week, and you probably watched all three of their games, but especially LSU where they passed the ball so much, were you sort of expecting the game plan that Drinkwitz had, where they ran the ball I think 50-something times?
Yeah, he always wants to be balanced. He does a nice job, through the years of being always having efficient rush yards, and it was working for him. When you're just getting 4 yards or 5 yards and constantly getting positive yardage and mushing us like that, it's aggravating on the defense. And they were in control, and that was aggravating for us. We've got to do a better job and be more stern in there and get them in predictable situations. They had us off balance all day.
We'll wrap up, Coach, with Larry Vaught.
Mark, it seemed like your defense also had more trouble tackling or maybe being in position to tackle today than what they normally have. Was that more a credit to Missouri or just poor execution on your part?
It's I'm sure when we look at the film, it'll be a little bit of both. I think they do a nice job the way they get in certain sets and the way they're spilling the ball to the perimeter, puts a little pressure on us. And I know, there was a lot of aggravating yards and lost leverage a little bit. And then at times we felt like they had, we had leverage and they hit it up inside. So it's a little bit of everything, but certainly you have to credit them. And, and Larry Roundtree's been around for a long time, and he's a really, really good runner. And I thought they had a good plan. So, you got to give a lot of credit to them. And certainly we want to do some things better.